This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
As the numbers continue to climb here in Indiana, the debate is on about the right time to lift those stay-at-home restrictions. Coming up, what we know about the newest COVID-19 data from the state health department, and a member of Congress from Indiana facing some backlash for suggesting the economy matters as much as saving lives. But first, we do want to get a check of our forecast. It is Wednesday. It's the middle of April, but it sure doesn't feel like it. Todd Clausen is standing by, kind of bringing us the bad news this week. But Todd, we are hoping for things to warm up.
Yeah, you know, Lauren, eventually, once we get to the weekend, we'll start to see these temperatures warm. But boy, what a winter-like feel. Wait till I show you the temperatures. And to go along with the temperatures tumbling here this afternoon, we have some rain and snow to tell you about. It's a thin band of precipitation, and it's mainly rain, but there is a little bit of snow mixed in, as you can see on Storm Team 6 radar. And this band of rain and snow is moving off towards the east. It's going to be a shock to the system for some of you as we start to see some of this rain make its way into the area. This is going to start to make its way off towards the east. You may see a few snowflakes. You may see some rain mixed in. You may even see a few ice pellets mixed in as well. But as we go throughout the afternoon hours, we are going to see this move off to the east very, very quickly. That is going to be the good news going forward in this forecast. It's not going to linger very long. But as we go throughout the course of the afternoon hours, more of a winter-like feel. Temperatures are in the 40s right now, 30s in some areas. So you're definitely going to need to bundle up if you are going to be out and about. We'll talk more about how long this chill is going to last, and also maybe a better chance, Lauren, of some accumulating snow for parts of the area as we get into the day on Friday.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, a mom and a child are safe this afternoon after they were rescued from a burning building. This all happened just after 6 o'clock this morning at this apartment on Mickley Avenue. When firefighters arrived, they found a woman and her 10-year-old child on a second-story window trying to escape. Firefighters were able to use a ladder to rescue them both. The mother was transported to a local hospital with some minor injuries, and the child was checked out at the scene and is doing fine. Investigators are trying to figure out how that fire started. Also new this midday, a serious crash was shutting down I-74 eastbound at Post Road to the southeast for a short time this morning. Indiana State Police tweeting out this picture of a car that ran off the highway and into some trees next to the interstate. Police had to shut down the eastbound lanes in the area so that a medical helicopter could land and transport the driver to the hospital. The interstate is back open in that area once again, and there's no word yet on the condition of that driver. Well, just in here to the RTV6 newsroom, the newest numbers of COVID-19 deaths from the state health department. Here's a look at the state health department's website right now. We can tell you 49 more deaths are being reported today. That brings the state's number to 436. There are also now almost 9,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases statewide. As you can see by the map, almost 3,200 of those are right here in Marion County. Here is a look at the chart showing that the curve in Indiana is still going up. We have a full update coming from Governor Holcomb this afternoon. Of course, live coverage of his briefing is at 2:30. You can watch that right here on RTV6. New this midday, the campus of Purdue University will be shut down longer because of the coronavirus pandemic. Today, Purdue announcing that all in-person events at the West Lafayette campus would be canceled through at least June 30th. That includes camps, conferences, public events, meetings, non-essential business, social gatherings, and sporting events. Purdue says a decision on July events will be made no later than May 15th. The school already is teaching all spring and summer classes remotely. An Indiana congressman is under scrutiny. It's because he suggested that ending social distancing that would put more people at risk of death from COVID-19 is, in his words, the lesser of two evils compared with the economy collapsing. Republican Congressman Trey Hollingsworth was talking about the federal government's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. He says he understands and appreciates what scientists are saying about the effects of social distancing in defeating the virus and saving lives, but Hollingsworth says that he thinks the impact on the economy will be worse.
Certainly, science is telling us where this disease will progress and how it will progress over time. Certainly, the social sciences are telling us the economic disaster that is occurring, down 20% this quarter alone, our GDP is expected to be. It is policymakers' decision to put on our big boy and big girl pants and say, this is the lesser of these two evils, and it is not zero evil, but it is the lesser of these evils, and we intend to move forward that direction. That is our responsibility, and to abdicate that is to insult the Americans that voted us into office.
Hollingsworth's office later sent this statement to CNN to clarify. He says it's hyperbolic to say that the only choices before us are the two corner solutions, no economy or widespread casualties, end quote. Hollingsworth represents Indiana's 9th congressional district that stretches from the southern suburbs of Indianapolis down south to the Kentucky state line. President Trump reversing himself, and he says that governors hold the power to open up their states now rather than the White House. The president is also being criticized for his call to halt U.S. funding to the World Health Organization during the pandemic. ABC's Inez de la Cuetara is in Washington right now with the very latest.
This morning, yet another sign of the economic toll of the coronavirus pandemic. The Commerce Department revealing retail sales plunged a record 8.7% in March, with clothing stores the hardest hit. Sales in that sector down a staggering 50.7% from last year. The Treasury Department saying this week 80 million Americans should receive direct relief payments from the government. Most Americans are still anxiously waiting for that help.
I know that I'm going to be drying out soon, and I'm just trying to get as much money as I can without that happening.
This as questions emerge over when to reopen the economy. The president indicating he'd like to lift restrictions by May, but now walking back his claim that he has total authority over the matter.
I will then be authorizing each individual governor of each individual state to implement a reopening.
Constitutional experts say the authority to close or open businesses during a public health crisis lies with the states, not the federal government. Governors around the country now forming regional coalitions to decide when to collectively reopen. One of those governors offering a dire outlook on how long we'll be feeling the effects of the pandemic.
You may be having dinner with a waiter wearing gloves, maybe a face mask.
Meanwhile, President Trump says he is halting hundreds of millions of dollars in U.S. funding to the World Health Organization while launching a review of the WHO's actions.
The WHO pushed China's misinformation about the virus.
Today on Good Morning America, the CDC director wouldn't echo those views.
The CDC and WHO has had a long history of working together in multiple outbreaks throughout the world.
There are some questions over whether President Trump even has the power to freeze that aid independent of Congress. But a senior Democratic aide on the Appropriations Committee tells ABC News that, yes, Trump is within his authority to do so. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, Washington.
High school juniors and seniors should be attending proms, but instead they're stuck at home. Up next, how one person is helping students celebrate the prom that could have been with some special pictures. Todd.
And Lauren, normally this time of year we are enjoying warmer temperatures, spring-like weather, but spring, where art thou? We're dealing with rain and snow on Storm Team 6 radar at this hour. We'll talk about not only this round of rain and snow, but another one heading our way before the week is over, coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 12:08. You're watching the news at noon right here on RTV6.
General Hospital, this week on ABC.
Welcome back. A major ripple effect of the pandemic is the cancellation of many of those traditional events for the high school class of 2020. Well, now, as our Kelsey Anderson tells us, a local photographer is doing what she can to give back.
Allison Williams is a dental assistant, and on the side, she has a small photography business that she says is really more of a hobby. But now that she's out of work due to the stay-at-home order, she says she wants to put that hobby to good use. Is offering free porch prom picture sessions to seniors who are close to the McCordsville area. She says she knows how much young girls look forward to prom and getting all glammed up for the big dance. While there might not be a dance this spring, Williams still wants the senior girls to feel special.
We can keep a safe distance, and instead of them just putting their dress on and taking a picture of it with their cell phone, I thought this would give them a reason to do their hair and their makeup and put their dress on and kind of feel important for a little while.
Again, Williams is doing these free of charge and just wants to give back in the best way she knows how. For more information on how to reach Williams, head over to this story on the RTV6 News app. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey. Home experts at theindychannel.com.
Nearly a week after the shooting death of Metro Police Officer Brianne Leith, our Rafael Sanchez had a chance to talk to the officer's mother and good friend. No recordings, but plenty of reflections. Both shared stories about the lady who had 3 years old, and she was 3 years old rather, and wanted to follow in her father's footsteps and found purpose behind the badge.
Sunflowers were among Brianne Leith's favorite things. So was music.
Just me and you. Just me and you.
And her friendship with fellow IMPD officer Desiree Biggers. Both worked East District. Desiree shared several stories, including Officer Leith making the food run for 3 children after their mom was arrested. Leith fed the kids while they waited for hours for a relative to arrive. Both officers were familiar with sign language. I am not, so I FaceTimed a friend to help me share this part of the story. You see, Officer Leith liked talking with people. She's credited with using sign language skills to help deal with a family fight on the east side this year. Her skills made the family feel comfortable and made it easier to find a peaceful resolution. Desiree has a message for Brianne's 3-year-old son. Your mom was a light in a dark place who touched the lives of many people. She loved the city, loved serving the city, and loved working in East District. Like the sunflower, Officer Leith stood tall, stood out, and understood the beauty of being in the present.
Officer Biggers says that Officer Leith had a big heart, and it was on display every day during every shift. A virtual service for Officer Leith will be held tomorrow at 11 a.m. Services will be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but due to the current restrictions under the coronavirus, the public will not be able to attend in person. There will also not be a public visitation, but we will show you the funeral live here on RTV6, the RTV6 app, and also at the IndyChannel.com. Taking a turn now to our forecast. Todd Clausen is standing by with what we can expect today in the middle of the work week, and hopefully looking ahead to some warmer temperatures on the way. Todd?
You know, we'll eventually get there, Lauren, but we have to be patient. You're not going to like what I have in the forecast for today and Friday, because what you see behind me on Storm Team 6 radar, a little bit of rain, a little bit of snow we're dealing with right now. We're going to be dealing with that on Friday as well. Let's take a little tour on Storm Team 6 radar, and we'll show you exactly where the snow is falling. Lebanon up towards Tipton, we're dealing with some snow. A big burst of rain just getting ready to come into downtown Indianapolis with some heavier rain there in the Speedway area. And as we slide to the north, it's rain showers in Muncie as well as Anderson, get to Hartford City. You're probably seeing a few little ice pellets, a little bit of light snow falling, and this is part of a band of just rain and snow that's quickly moving through the area. So it's not going to linger in your neighborhood very long. That is the good news. We are not going to see any accumulation. If you did see some of those ice pellets pile up on the grassy areas or maybe on your sidewalk, it's going to melt away pretty quickly. So we're not going to have any issues on the roadways if you do have to get out and about. And all this precipitation should come to an end by about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon as it pushes off into Ohio. But here we are in the middle of April, and we're talking about rain and snow and also some very chilly temperatures. And there's a big temperature spread right now across the state. 50 in Bedford as well as Columbus, 49 in Bloomington, Indianapolis at 44. But look at the temperatures to the north where that weak front has already made its way through the area. We're down into the 30s right now in Tipton as well as the Peru area. Once this precipitation moves into your neighborhood in the central and eastern portion of the state, your temperatures will dip, and then they should rebound a little bit this afternoon, but only into the low 40s. It's a very cold winter-like day for us. You'll need to bundle up, and then temperatures will fall off into the 30s this evening very, very quickly. Tomorrow morning, down into the 20s for everybody. It is cold. Freeze warnings go into effect once again overnight tonight. Tomorrow, though, we do rebound with dry conditions conditions up to a high near 50 degrees and skies that'll be partly to mostly cloudy, but it's a decent day as far as you can get with temperatures that'll be right around 50 degrees. But tomorrow evening, rain overspreads the area, and then that changes over to snow in northern locations. And unlike today with temperatures above freezing and the sun up, this comes in during the overnight hours. That gives it a little better chance to accumulate in northern locations. It should just be rain from Indianapolis to the south, but Friday's just not going to be a very pleasant day for us across the area where the snow does fall in northern locations. We could see up to 1 to maybe 2 inches from Lafayette over towards the Tipton and Muncie area. Again, no accumulation from Indianapolis to the south. This would be Thursday night into the overnight hours on Friday, so the best advice is everybody sheltering at home Friday. If you don't have to get out in the morning, don't do it. And then finally, you see in your 7-day planning forecast over the weekend and into next week, we get a little closer to normal, Lauren, with sunshine returning and also warmer temperatures into the 50s and then eventually the 60s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, the storms we saw earlier this week, we know left behind damage for some Hoosiers. And anytime there's storm damage, there's usually scammers not far behind. They're promising repairs, but then they fail to deliver. Tim Maniscalco with the Better Business Bureau tells us what you need to watch out for.
Whenever we have storms like this, it always brings out what we call storm chasers. These are people who are going to go into neighborhoods that have had damage to the homes. They're going to knock on doors and they're going to say, hey, I can fix your roof or whatever it might be, take your tree down, whatever the situation might be. Now, some of these people are legitimate, so you don't want to turn all of them away, but you want to be on the lookout for several things. Number one, if it's a really high pressure sale, if it's a cash only sort of deal, if they don't have any markings on their truck, they don't have the name, that type of thing. So the best thing to do is, number one, check these people out. BBB.org is a great place to go. If they're an accredited business, you know that they're licensed. Number two, check out their insurance. Make certain that they are insured. Number three, you want to look to see for references. Make certain that they've got, good references. Also, probably the first phone call you want to make is to your insurance company to see, hey, am I covered? What's the deductible? What's the process? Are they going to come out and do some sort of a estimate before you hire anybody? So just be careful. You will get your roof fixed or your tree taken down or what have you eventually, but don't fall for these high-pressured salesmen. They always come out this time whenever there's a storm like this, and we call them storm chasers.
All right, some good information there from Tim Maniscalco. Tim, thank you so much. Straight ahead here on the news at noon, how we are working together with the United Way to help our community. Plus, one more check of your Storm Team 6 forecast. You're watching the news at noon right here on RTV6. RTV6 is working together with the United Way of Central Indiana, and we are teaming up for COVID-19 Community Economic Relief Fund. This initiative supports organizations that serve people and families affected by the pandemic. You can donate to this fund by texting HELP 2020 to 91999. His country has seen one of the worst outbreaks of COVID-19, but a World War II vet from the UK is using it as an inspiration to raise money for his country's healthcare system. Tom Moore, he's 99 years old. Last week, the retired British Army captain announced that he would raise money for the UK's National Health Service by walking 100 laps around his garden before his 100th birthday. That's on April 30th. His initial goal was to raise a few $1,000s, but so many donations have come in that Captain Moore now has raised the U.S. equivalent of around $6 million. Not only that, but Moore has been walking faster than expected. He says he'll finish his 100 laps this week, 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Good for him. That is awesome. All right, we got to get one final check of our forecast. Todd, what can we expect today?
And Lauren, just poked my head outside my house and the rain starting to fall in Marion County in downtown Indianapolis. So there's a burst of rain. Some of you seeing snow, no accumulation today, but very chilly temperatures. Tomorrow's a dry day with a high near 50. Some accumulating snow possible Friday night in northern locations. And then finally, warmer temperatures and dry conditions with sunshine arrives over the weekend. We should be up into the 60s by the time we get to Sunday afternoon.
Todd, thank you. And thank you for joining us and making RTV6 your choice for news. We hope you come back here. Join us for the news at 5 o'clock. Have a great afternoon.